everybody, it's Alan Brochstein coming to you from Houston, Texas to talk about cannabis stocks. And we are down year to date, which I'll talk about more in a while, but it's much better than it was. Is it great ahead? Who knows? As I've been saying, it all depends on the DEA and how quickly they act and how they act. We'll see. There was no news this week. I'm going to be pretty quick today. I did write a piece for Seeking Alpha, where I host 420 Investor, and it was entitled, WM Technology is a Good Cannabis Stock. I think it is. And you can read that for free at Seeking Alpha. In WM Technology, that's Weed Maps, is what that is. There were 4 of the 26 names that I follow closely on my focus list, 420 Investor, that reported news. And the first one was Curaleaf. I see a typo. They didn't raid. They raised 16 million Canadian. And that's a small amount. I've been talking about how bad their balance sheet is, and that doesn't really help. So look out below if you ask me. The other news was Organigram filed a $500 million Canadian shelf, and the market didn't react very well to that. I shared with my subscribers why that is wrong, and I don't think it's a deal. I don't expect them. They have cash and no debt. I think it's more likely that they'll be acquired than they sell stock. Scott's Miracle-Gro saw 2 of its senior executives explain exactly why they're senior. They are older, and they retired. And then finally, Urban Grow had some non-cannabis news. 2 weeks ago, they announced one small, well, it was 3, but a small amount for cannabis contracts and for non-cannabis. But this week, they announced an $11 million order that'll be spread out over several quarters. And so that was the news. And the market this week was lower by 1.6%. We ended the quarter up a lot. It was our first quarter to go up since March of 2021. We were up that quarter, even though the market peaked in February. And the S&P 500 this week fell less than our market. We were down 1.6%, and we're now down year to date by, I gotta find it here, sorry. Okay, so in September, the Global Cannabis Stock Index that we run at New Cannabis Ventures, which was just updated yesterday, rebalanced, was up 2.9%, and the S&P 500 fell 4.9%. But year to date, it's the Global Cannabis Stock Index is down 5.6%, and the S&P 500 is up now 11.7%. And that's up more than most stocks, especially the ones that I own. Because I'm not saying I've lost money owning them. I like the stocks that are down right now, not all the time. So I run 2 model portfolios, and I launched one for the first time at the end of the year, and the other one was a relaunch, and I called that one the Beat the Global Cannabis Stock Index model portfolio, and it was down 3.1% this week, which was a little bit worse than the overall market as measured by the Global Cannabis Stock Index. And it's now down year to date by 6.6%. again, a little bit worse. I am not doing what I usually do, which is beat the market. And the way you beat the market is by going up more when it's rallying and down less when it's falling. Pretty simple sounding, but not so easy to do all the time. And I think that this has been a very tough year. And if you read my work, you'll know that I've called out a few names that I don't own, and they've done well, especially recently. And I've invested in some names, I'll throw one out there, like Ascend in my model portfolio, and they have not done well, or Lowell Farms. And you can read the piece. I have a link to it that I based this video on. I shared it last night. You can find it on Twitter or any social media, or on the link of this. There's a link in the summary of this YouTube, and you can read in that exactly what I did this week in this model portfolio. And then the other one, Beat the American Cannabis Operator Index, I launched that for the first time at the beginning of the year, and it's up year to date by 4.3%, but this is worse than the index by far, and it's even worse than my secondary goal of beating MSOS, which I really don't like. And if you own it, you're not necessarily an idiot, but I always say, buy idiots for idiots, MSOS. And it is for idiots. It doesn't mean you're an idiot if you own it. It means you probably don't really understand what you're doing. That's all. There are some people that can't buy OTC listed stocks. And okay, I get it. Should they buy that? No, not in my opinion. They should buy a lot of other cannabis stocks. I have in my model portfolio the largest exposure is in 3 Canadian LPs. Am I excited about Canada? No. Am I excited about these stocks? Yes. And so that one this week fell only 1%, and the index lost 3.2%, and MSOS was down 1.2%. So a good week, not a good year so far. And finally, I'm going to conclude within 8 minutes, 7:47 now. This week, we will have one report from Tilray. If you're a mean person, I'm going to tell you, you should buy it. But for most of you, no, you should not buy it. You should sell it. Have a good week. Take care.